For Phikelelani Khumalo, the South African middleweight title has been a crown he's had on his sights for the past few years. The 26-year-old boxer, who hails from Umthwalume in the south coast of KZN, has been rising up the ranks of the middleweight division in South African boxing from the moment he stepped onto the ring for the first time in December of 2020. Stinger currently holds the regional KZN middleweight title and has been firm in calling out the national champion John Section 29 Bopape for his shot at the SA title. After years of going back and forth and calling each other out, the two men will finally meet right here in Durban on Friday night in a clash that promises to be one for the ages. In this week's edition of Extratime Unlocked, we're going to be catching up with the challenger ahead of the big fight. Stinger, thank you so much for your time and joining us, Gaga CFM. You're no stranger to Gaga CFM. You're back again, but this time it's ahead of a very big fight. We've been speaking about it for the longest time. You've been calling the man out, and finally you have your shot now. It's the SA middleweight title, national title against the champion with John Section 29 Bopape. First of all, how are you doing, brother?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Oh, good to have you. And I guess I'm going to ask you the same question again, because you've been calling out this man for years, and he's sort of like also been responding to you. But just firstly, how are you feeling ahead of this fight? Because it's something that you've wanted for a really long time, and now it's here.
No, I feel amazing, man. I feel great. This is the opportunity that I've been waiting for a long time. You know, I'm ready for this fight. I had a great camp. I was with the likes of Snamison Tuli, Andile Mtungwa. A lot of sparring partners pushed me this camp. So I feel like I'm going to bring fireworks to this fight.
Yeah, it's very hot here. It's your space. You've been training. Obviously, I think your last fight was in September last year. Emphatic knockouts win for you. I think you've been specializing in those now. Specializing in those knockouts, but you got your win last year. I think now, 4 months later, you are here fighting again. I think that's probably one of the shortest times you've had between fights. How has the training camp been for you? Obviously, your dad is here. Ubabu Khumalo is helping you out to prepare. So how has everything been for you in preparing for the big fight?
No, like I said to you the last time we spoke, that I wasn't going to rest. So the whole of December, I had no holidays. I was up in Johannesburg training while other people were celebrating, doing this, doing that. I was keeping in shape so that when I come here and start camp, because our training camp is very hard, even though I was training in December, but when I got here, it felt like I wasn't training,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, but what's different about this training camp? Because it is the biggest fights of your career so far. As I said, you've been calling out the man for the longest time, going up the ranks in the middleweight division. Now your opportunity has come. What has been different from this camp compared to Lama Camp Sadlul?
No, they say you mustn't fix something when it's not broken. So same system. We've been working harder though. We've been doing more rounds, obviously, because this is a 12th rounder. But we are there in terms of fitness and everything, and we believe that, we're going to deliver another knockout.
And let's talk about the man, John Bopape. He's obviously the SA champion right now. He is the king of the middleweight division. And you've been calling him out for the longest time, as I've mentioned. But he's sort of responded to you. He's on record calling you a talkative child, alluding to the fact that you haven't really won anything as yet when it comes to the national setup of the middleweight division, saying a lot of stuff. First of all, how do you respond to that? And do you feel there's an element of him underestimating you going into this fight?
Well, I don't really take much of it. Boxers say whatever they want. If he knows boxing, he knows that you can get a young fighter that can come and dethrone you. We've had young world champions, the likes of Javonte Davis. He won his world championship at the age of 21 against someone that was 29. So that is irrelevant. You know, I don't really care about him saying I'm talkative. Yeah, well, come and shut me up then if I talk too much.
And he's coming to your hometown.
Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. He's a boxer. He's supposed to believe in himself, you know. But if he says, I saw an article of him saying my last 2 performances were not impressive. I was like, yo, I wonder, like, what is this guy watching? Or, I mean, his last 2 performances, he must go back and look at his fights.
Yeah.
His second to last fight, he got knocked out. And his last fight, I was ringside. And I don't know, maybe he was impressed with his performance, but I wasn't.
Yeah, let's talk about the man a little bit, because you know you're as good as your dance partner, and obviously, as I've mentioned, he's the champion. But what do you make of his style? We always say in boxing, styles make fights. What do you make of his styles and what he brings, and how do you think you mitigate his style with what you bring?
Well, I can't really talk about his style because I'd be giving away the game plan.
Yeah.
But we've studied him, you know. We have coaches that know how to, you know, orchestrate a great game plan, and I just have to go there and stick to the game plan. But in terms of boxing skills, he doesn't have much compared to me. I mean, people are underestimating me for this fight, but he's a one-dimensional fighter, you know, and with me, I can knock you out with any punch. Uppercut, right hook, left hook, I have everything in the arsenal, so I hope he's ready. I really hope he's ready.
You hope he's ready? Yeah. The last time he was in KZN, he got knocked out. I think you were also in the same card fighting with Piwe on that night at the Olive Convention Center. I want you to put your head on the block here, Stinger. I know you're a very confident dude. Our sub Luto, you know, you're always out there with your confidence. So what's the plan for the fight, and how is Ustinga going to be approaching the fight, and what's the plan in terms of how he's going to win it?
Well, I'm the challenger, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't care who is in front of me. I just want the belt. So whatever is in front of me, I have to make sure that I destroy and take my belt. That's all.
Sure. 2 at the back. Yeah. Adding one more?
Oh, one more.
One more to go. And that's the biggest one, of course.
Yeah.
Fight is coming out on Friday nights. All the best, brother.
Thank you.
I know you've been training really hard. Yeah. Hopefully you're going to bring it back to KZN.
No, definitely. I want to ask all the fans to go and buy tickets. You know, make sure you come early, because you never know. This is boxing. It might be a short night.